Well, good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to the 1st of March. Yeah, what a cracking start. It's a bit of a pea soup this morning. Sun is somewhere over that way. We have a frost, and to be honest, my hands are getting a bit cold already. So, yeah, fun times. So this morning, first thing, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit late getting in this morning. Just having a walk around. I might also get mower power back out again. Remember this puddle from last year? It's still here. So last time I went that way, I think this time I'll head for that little low bit. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually stood in this field. So for those that don't know, this is our hay field. Well, it should be. Still a little bit, well, it's very wet still. You can't drive on it. But yeah, it's not looking too bad now, I'm surprised. Since it's been underwater since Christmas really. Still very wet down the centre, but yeah, it's not too bad. Ditch is very full as well still. So nothing can really get away. I'll have a walk down to where the new bridge is and see how that is. Yeah, so this is about 4 acres. This will be one of our, well, good producing fields for hay. And this did start off life. There's a lot of reed grass and rubbish. And I got told you can never make hay out of it. And funnily enough, I don't think it looks too bad. Well, that's finally the first time I've actually seen that pipe for a long time. And on that side, and you can see how much has been gouged out. There was about that same distance of pipe showing on that side as there was on that side. So you can see this kind of, from there, back has all disappeared, which isn't good. So I don't know if the camera will pick it up very well, but if I zoom in, you can see them stones there, they're from the washout. And as the water's come out the pipe, it swirled and cleared off the mud from those stones. So that's actually like, looks like 4 inches. The stone's about 4 inches lower than the top of the ditch. And then we've got a piece of wood as well that's blocking it. The ditch ain't helping, so I'll have to try and formulate a plan for this. So we're only like 30 yards up from where the ditch is. And look, there are catkins that are on them. Most of these ones down this side have catkins on, which actually look quite nice. So why those ones in that far side have died, I'm not entirely sure. The land's pretty much the same around here as well. There's had a couple of casualties as well from the flooding. But yeah, not looking too bad. Another one gone down there as well. Yeah, it's looking very sparse as this woodland. But what do? It should fill in eventually. it's like trying to polish a turd. What about not just setting it as much? Right, well, we're down here, might as well have a quick look around. For those that are regulars, they'll know that this is our caravan site, and because of COVID obviously we're a bit empty. So I planted a couple of hedges. One was last year, one was year before, down here. I think this was last year's one. We did that about 5 years ago, and then there's one down there that was about 2 years ago, something like that. So this one we actually redid the fencing because the fence was knackered. We also raised it a little bit as well, just to try and stop the horses leaning over the top. And to be fair, people were starting to try feeding the horses, which is never good. Put this fence up. The stock wire at the front was second hand. It's only there just to stop people walking into the hedging and say trying to get to the horsing mostly. The whips that we put in, if you don't know what a whip is, it's basically the stock that we put in. So these are usually 1+1, which means they're a year in a nursery being grown and then a year in the ground. I think these were about 50 centimetre high, and then they were planted. So I did this whole length down here, right down to the tractor, and they're looking quite good. They're budding up quite nicely now. You can see the green. Stuff like that one, I actually ran the hedge cutter over the top last year, just to keep the height down. So what I want to do is try and get them thick at the bottom. You can't see very well with that one because I haven't greened up yet, but I've done it with that one. So try and get it thick so it stops the horses, which means that this front fence can come out eventually, and hopefully that fence at the back as well. Right, we're down in the deer park again. So I have T5 with the mow plough, which you can't see because it's on to the side of it. I've just run her through that puddle again. If you go back, you'll have seen I did it last year. But last year I ran it from the puddle in somewhere down here, I think it was. There is actually quite a lump here in the ground. You probably can't tell on camera. But. So I ran her through that way, took it out of the turf off from the beginning. But exactly what I wanted. A really, really good flow out of it. So hopefully that'll dry up fairly quickly now. As we go into here, and then I've just done that one up there as well. I started quite far into the pond, I don't know if you can tell, but back wheels were about there and dragged her through. So there you go, T5 with mow plough. Might as well have a look at mow plough over here for anybody that doesn't know what they are. So all there is 3-point linkage. 3-point linkage on it, and a disc at the front which spins round, and that just slices through the turf. And then we have the blade at the back here, which is the one that cuts through the ground and basically splits the grass apart. And then there's like a bullet that goes on the back, which is about yay big, about 3 inches, which can make a bigger hole. Kind of for these jobs, to be fair, but I can't be arsed putting it on. And that's shaped like that, so it actually helps push yourself into the ground when you drop the linkage. Which is not in bad nick. There's a bit of wear at the front of here, obviously where the grass is, or where the soil goes through most. But it just wants hard facing really with welder at some point. But for 200 quid, I ain't complaining. Right, another job done.